Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Arpita Karwa and in this video I'm going to decode the new education policy 2020 with you. So if you look at the history of Indian education, you will be surprised to know that there was no significant change that was made during the past 34 years. And therefore, this new education policy is kind of a reformatory movement. It is a kind of historic movement for everybody across India, because this is going to take the education system to new heights. And if you look at the education system followed by other countries like US, UK, you will find out that their education system is really enhanced. They make sure that the students not only know the theory but also are well enhanced with the practical. So looking at the changes made there and looking at the system followed there, even our government decided that they are going to make a big change in the education system. And I'm not ashamed to say that the current education system that we have been following so far is highly outdated. Students are taught paint in class 6 when they go to their computer class. Now who is going to get any benefit out of the software called paint when today the world has moved to altogether new stage? We have Adobe Premiere and then we have Photoshop, Illustrator for designing. Who works with paint? So looking at all these lacunas, our government decided that it's high time that the education system should be reformed. In this particular video, I've made sure that I cover all important points of the new education system so that you get a very clear and concise picture of what it looks like. Now you might be wondering that why suddenly there is such a big change in the education system. Let me tell you friends that this is not just an overnight decision that they have made. There are three very crucial issues that they are going to address by the way of this new education system. The first and the foremost one is that they want that by 2035, at least 50% students should move towards higher education. Right now, if you look at the numbers, only 25% students enroll themselves in higher education programs. Rest everyone drop out because of various reasons. So they want that by 2035, at least 50% students should be able to complete their higher education. And this would only be possible if they start giving perks, if they start reforming the system. The second important issue that they address is rote learning. Right now, if you look at the education system, it is extremely rote learning based. Everything is about ratification. If you can learn it, if you can mug it up, then you can crack any exam. But looking at the scenario right now, looking at the global trend right now, it is very important that students should know the practical application. We all have studied physics in our 9th or 10th grade, but how many of us can actually get up and change a bulb in our own homes? We cannot. So what's the use of physics then? Why have we invested so much time in learning something which is not at all relevant? And not just that, if I ask you to pick any topper from your class and I ask that topper to write a job application, I am very sure that 95% of the toppers will not be able to write a proper job application. Why is that? Because we are not taught that. We're just taught to mug up things. We're not taught how we can use our knowledge in the practical domain. So the government wants that each of these things should be eradicated. The system should be more practical and less theoretical. And the third major issue that they try to address by the means of this new education system is the importance that they give to other subjects. Right now, there are various subjects that we have learned, and if we look back, we might find that they are extremely irrelevant today. For example, I had no option but to take commerce because my school did not offer humanities at that time. Now today, if I look at my career as an English literature lecturer, commerce subject, be it accountancy, be it economics, are highly irrelevant. I have invested 2 years of my life studying something which is not making any sense to me right now. So the government wants that the student should be able to select the options, subjects on their own, and then they want that all these subjects that the student is studying should help him in the career. It should not be like a student who has studied physics, chemistry, maths in 11th and 12th and then did his his BSc and finally decided to enter into UPSC, where he takes Pol Science as the optional subject. So what has he done all 7 years of his life, 11, 12 and then 5 years of graduation? Whatever he has studied plays no role in the UPSC preparation, and therefore the student might stop and think that, have he made a fool out of himself studying something which is not making any sense right now? So the government wants to change the system so that every student who enters into the job finds out that whatever he has studied makes sense, helps him in his job domain, helps him in his career, and he is able to make sense out of that. So let us first look at the school level changes made by the government in the new education policy. Now when I went through that policy and I was looking at the school level changes, I was so amazed to see the great work that I felt like going back to school. It is extremely amazing. The way they have structured it, I was awestruck. So if you look at the entire school life of a student, you will find that he takes birth, and after 3 years he steps into nursery, KG and prep. So 3 years he goes to a preparatory school. Then after that he jumps into the main school, where he enrolls himself in class first, and then the sequence begins till class 12th. So this is actually how it was structured so far. Now according to the new education policy, this structure has been divided into 4 parts: 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Now what is it? Let us look at it one by one. So the government has clubbed the preparatory school in the first 2 years of main school. So nursery, KG, prep 1 and class 2. All 5 are clubbed together, and this is the first section. Focus in this 5 years would be to enhance the language of the student so that he is able to acquire knowledge using this language. So the focus is on language development. Then after that, when the student steps into class 3, begins the second phase of the school, class 3, 4 and 5. In these 3 years, the student is taught basics and fundamentals. So in mathematics, we have tables, table of 2, table of 4, basic addition, subtraction, all of that is taught in these 3 years, class 3 to 5. What happens after he steps into class 6? Some amazing developments takes place. So when the student now enters in class 6, for the next 3 years, his life changes altogether. He is introduced to all kinds of subjects, be it botany, zoology, history, pol science, mathematics, economics. Every subject is taught to this kid so that he can actually understand where his interest lies. See, we all know that you need to first look at all different fields available, and only then, after immersing yourself into these fields, you will be able to see which interests you the most. Like if I want to ask you that which is your favorite movie genre, you're going to say that it's comedy. Why? Because you've also seen action movies, you've seen romance, you've seen thriller, but out of all of these, what you like is comedy. So just like that, the government wants that the student should be able to taste the flavor of each subject, so that in the next phase, he will be able to select the subjects which he liked the most. So in this 3 years phase, from 6th, 7th and 8th, the student is going to be taught all the subjects. So he is introduced to different subjects, plus vocational courses are introduced. Now what are vocational courses? Vocational courses are courses which will give practical knowledge to the student. So internships are introduced, which was not heard of. If you've seen this movie To All the Boys I've Loved Before, it is one of my favorite movie, and there's a scene where this girl Laura Jean is going to an old age home as a part of the school curriculum, and she deals with the people there, and she has to arrange certain events for them, and she learns a lot in that process. Now what is that? That is a vocational training, that is internship, because what you learn in internship, what you learn in these vocational courses can never be learned from the books that you have in your school. So the efforts are made to make the knowledge more practical. So not only theory is taught, but the students are given exposure to the practical subjects, as well as coding is introduced. Now this is something really amazing. Till now, coding was only taught to students who want to become computer engineers, and that was taught in their bachelor's, but now they are introducing coding in class 6th itself. Because see, when a person codes, a lot of things are happening in his brain and overall brain development happens. So the government wants that the brain should be developed at this stage so that the student can be utilized that functioning in the later stages of his life. So coding is introduced, you're introduced to new subjects and vocational courses as well. Now finally the student steps into the last level of schooling, that is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So this is the 4 years which we call as 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Now this is the time when you have the option to select the subject which you would like to study and make a career in. And the biggest development they have made in this field is that you have the choice to select from any academic as well as any co-curricular subject. So as a student, I can take botany with accountancy, with dance, with debating, and the 5th subject can be history. So I can club science, commerce and humanities together and make a different structure for myself, and this is applicable for every student who enters into the 9th standard. So I can select different subjects from different streams. It's not that if I'm a science student I can only select the subjects from science. I can select subjects from science, commerce and humanities. Along with that, now the co-curricular activities are also taken as subjects. So dance, art, fine arts, they all are now subjects. So if a student wants to become a musician in the future, he will not have to study history, pol science. He can take music as a subject and start studying it from 9th standard itself. So isn't that amazing? Like, they have restructured everything and it looks beautiful. I'm just hoping with my fingers crossed that the way it looks on paper, it is implemented in the same way. Not just school level, but there are some amazing reforms made in the higher education sector as well. I'm going to talk about all these reforms, all these changes in my next video. So if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I think you should do it so that you are posted whenever I put up my new video. If you have any other questions or queries related to the new education policy 2020, make sure you put that in the comment section so that I will be able to address it in my upcoming videos. So that's it from my side for this lecture. I'll meet you very soon in my next video. Till the time I meet next, happy learning, keep loving literature and stay tuned to arpitakarwa.com.